Good morning, Story Trading VIPs. It's Monday, May 15th. We got a couple good actionable trade ideas for you, I think, but we'll get to that in just a second. First, looking at our macro situation, starting with the bank stocks. I just want to point out that PACW has been continuing to go down steadily. We know that they're looking for some sort of strategic out. So that's a danger there. But I also want to point out Bank of Hawaii has been extremely weak. They've been like resistantly attacking Bank of Hawaii for weeks. Really, it's never recovered since Silicon Valley Bank. And there's some bad reports out there regarding their fundamentals and their balance sheet and everything. So these two could be the next two to drop. PACW and Bank of Hawaii. And then so I'm continuing to view gold as a hedge, view Bitcoin as a possible hedge. But despite all that, I'm still bullish as long as the QQQ is over the 20 DMA. Your risk to the downside is that 20 DMA, so wouldn't be surprised if at any time it like spikes down to 320. That's possibly in the card, especially if you have like another bank stock that fails or something like that. But overall, look at this. Looking at the weekly moving averages, it looks really bullish right now. So I'm not going to fight that. I'm going to stay long, but just hedge because of the debt crisis, banking crisis, possible currency worries, things like that. So that's the story. Of course, recession as well. You got to worry about. All right, let's head on over to our list of catalysts from this morning. So we're going to have a big AI focus here. Google, we talked about last week. Google Bard AI really taking some of that excitement away from ChatGPT, and we suggested to you Google long, Microsoft short would be a pair trade. Microsoft chopped all week, and Google's been up. Google, if you look at the technicals here, if you look at the candles, I think this is clear to resistance level, and the next candles are these two here, which is around 122, 121.68 to 122.50, I think is where Google could go here in the near future. And then you have a pullback support at the gap, which is about 115, right at that gap. I'd be surprised if it fills that gap at like 113 with the news that we have, but that's always a possibility too. So like 115, 113-ish on the downside, and then 122 to the upside is what I'm looking for on Google. And Microsoft, I'm like, that's, for me, it's played out. Like, if I'm going to play AI right now, I'm going to be playing Google. Now, actually, before I touch on Amazon, which I have an AI-related thesis for you there, I just want to point out that AI, the first kind of AI stock that really, when ChatGPT took off, AI was one that was huge, that really took off with it. They pre-announced earnings this morning. They pre-announced a revenue beat. It says Q4 total revenue, but only slightly, by like $1.5 million, like 72 million versus 71 million. Not a big deal. They're still losing a ton of money. I think they upped their guidance for their loss as well, but they're still losing a ton of money on that. So in any case, you see AI making a move here this morning. Not my favorite AI stock, but let's just look at the levels here. You have a little bit of resistance there at 21.50, bottom of these candles, and then you got 22 at the 50 DMA, and to the downside, you got the 20 DMA at like 1933, or even the gap fill here would be Friday's close, which, where are we? Here we go. Why does it have three candles? All right, so it closes 1942. So 1942, the top of here, 2060 or something like that. So if you want to play that, that's fine. I think a better way to play AI is with the big caps, right? Microsoft for a while, and now switching to Google. But here's Amazon for you. Amazon, I think, can be an AI play. It's interesting. I've been, ever since ChatGPT came out, I've been thinking to myself, wouldn't it be great if Alexa had something like ChatGPT, and you can have like full conversations with it? And right now it's not really, the AI is not very good on Alexa. I don't even know if it's considered AI on the Alexa. But it's interesting that when Google popped on here Wednesday and Thursday, you see that big pop on Wednesday and Thursday? Amazon also popped that same Wednesday and Thursday really sharply. There you go. So this big move, it almost coincides with what Google did when Bard AI was announced. And I want to propose to you that perhaps from a sentiment perspective, everyone was locked into ChatGPT. ChatGPT is going to disrupt everything. Everything's going to Microsoft Bing, and that's it. Like, that was one track mind that Wall Street had. And I want to propose to you that since Bard AI came out and really leapfrog ChatGPT by a big margin, it got people thinking that it's much more fluid, right? It's not like one company is going to take everything. It's like all of these mega cap companies are going to do something with AI, right? So Google is going to come out and make a much better Bard AI within a few months and leapfrog ChatGPT. Well, then maybe there's speculation that something's going to happen with Alexa. And maybe that's what this buying is about. And we're going to have Vegas on later. I think she may have a comment on the dark pool that she tracks on Amazon as well. So, and by the way, there's an article yesterday that came out. I think it was in Investors Business Daily, IBD, I think, regarding just this, that there could be some developments with Amazon Alexa. There's not much about it, actually. So you could be ahead of the curve here. If you go like on Twitter and you search like Alexa AI, there's not much about it yet, but there is some chatter about it. And you see Amazon here is above the 50 DMA. And it's kind of like you got this candle here at 120. Yeah, I mean it's above this resistance at 114. No, 114. It's not yet. So it's got to break 114, like 114, 120, and then 130, 131, 114, 120, 131. So I don't know. I think I'm willing to take a chance on this one and try to be ahead of the curve rather than reacting. Sometimes when you react, you still do great because the market takes even longer to react. We saw that with Microsoft many times, that when you had great ChatGPT news, it took like a day for the market to react. And same with Google last week, right? It took a day for this big gap to come. So instead of just reacting, maybe it's worth a speculative position on Amazon, betting that sometime in the next couple months, they're going to say, wow, Alexa's getting a total revamp with AI. And I think that's an interesting story. All right, just want to point out there also Palantir, which has a big AI. I just want to follow up on this because they had great earnings. They also have been talking about AI a lot and unprecedented demand for the AI products. So I just want to keep this on our radar. Okay, $9 support is what I see here. $9 support. Maybe when it gets to that support level, it becomes a buy. So Palantir, interesting just to keep an eye on. I'm not calling for anything today on that. Tesla was a big disappointment Friday. One of our rare misses, to be honest with you, especially when it comes to mega caps. We've had a great track record, but Tesla really did not work out. I was going for this target here at the 50 DMA, closer to 179, 180, and that didn't happen with Musk. Finding a new CEO for Twitter, but then there were rumors that he would leave Tesla, which is not a true rumor. But when a stock doesn't go up on good news, that's always a bad sign. In my experience, that's been a bad sign, and it's been a time to bail. It could be a sign that the stock is kind of at a top. It could be a sign, the stock's overvalued, and even good news isn't going to send it up. That being said, it's still above the 20 DMA, so probably not. You don't want to put the nail in the coffin here until maybe it breaks down and closes below the 20 DMA. But Tesla, not really a top pick for me because it did not perform the way I thought it would on Friday. All right, I'm kind of much more bullish on Amazon. Even Google on this pullback might be a better opportunity. Okay, what else do we have here? Let's get into some smaller caps. Baba, we're just watching here. They have earnings Thursday, so be careful about earnings. I think it's Thursday morning, but there's been a whole bunch of crazy catalysts for Baba and, ever since they wanted to split up here. Well, you see that big gap up, and then some IPO talks, China CPI coming in light, and now it's up. All Chinese stocks are up this morning. So very volatile here. Is 88 to 90 at these DMAs. Hasn't happened yet. Hopefully we'll get an event anticipation one going into earnings Thursday morning, and then I'd happily be out of the stock, at least my trading position. Do have a longer term position that I'd hold through earnings. All right, some smaller cap names. NRGV, this is a battleground stock. Lots of bears, lots of bulls, lots of skeptics. What's a short position on this? 8.4%. This is really interesting. Press release out this morning. You don't see this every day. Energy Vault announces that short seller Bleecker Street has issued retractions to inaccurate and misleading report. This is a kind of coup for people who are, hate those shorts and short sellers, and they want to get the best of them. Like retail's probably real excited about something like this today. If you scroll down, you'll see all the corrections they had to make. And man, they were probably in deep legal trouble. Good legal team over at, it's interesting because you see companies very often saying, we're going after these short sellers, we're going after them, and nothing ever happens. This is the first time maybe I remember something like this once. If it's happened before, I've only seen it maybe one other time, but it's really the first time in recent memory that I've actually seen something come of it. And they're able to get significant retractions out of Bleecker Street. That's pretty cool. I mean, I don't, in a sense, I don't even care about the fundamentals. I wouldn't be surprised to see the stock go up on a 1 day type of situation. Um, because the fundamentals might not be good. I know people who are very adamant about that, but this is a very unique press release that could cause people to get excited and retail to get excited, and maybe you can break that 50 DMA today and have some action. So this is kind of like a high risk, high reward stock today. All right, because I do have doubts about their fundamentals, so it could be unpredictable what happens here. But again, this press release is so unique that I wouldn't be surprised to see the stock break the 50 DMA and just make some sort of crazy run today. Who knows? So like 250 or something like that. I really don't know what's going to happen. I don't know the company well, but just pointing out that there could be fireworks in NRGV, and it could be very volatile, right? Because the shorts probably still have some bit of conviction. So even if it goes up, they may slam it down. And I do also want to point out that it's been up sharply already. So I don't know if people knew this was coming, but it's been up sharply on earnings. May 9th. Let me just see the date when this happened. Yeah, up sharply on earnings, which looked like a miss, right? So someone liked it. Maybe there's something in the CC that was good. Future forward-looking comments on NRGV. A lot of moving parts here, so hard for me to predict because I don't know it really well. But again, I got to reiterate, that press release is so unique that you could see fireworks in that stock today. All right, continue to love Celsius to like 150. I saw another chart analysis from a colleague on Twitter. Like 160s could be coming. And anyway, this is going to be bought out by Pepsi. So great company to hold, I think. I want to note Kodak has got relative strength this morning. It closed really strong on Friday. I love that earnings report that we had. Yes, revenue was down, but the flip to profitability was quite extreme. And in this environment, I think profitability is really important. We're right at the 20 DMA, 359, just short of the 50 DMA. And I wouldn't be surprised if this breaks those key moving averages today and goes for a run. I saw, what did I see here? A little bit of 375 resistance, a little bit of 4. I think these are possible. If it, not today, maybe this week, it could have a great week, but we'll have to see. Not a guarantee on this, but I do like the fact that it closed very strong on Friday with high volume and has relative strength this morning. So Kodak, high on watch. I really like it. AUGX took a big hit after earnings. And the earnings were fine. They were in line. I read the conference call transcript. No surprises. I think the thesis stays the same. It's still above the 20 DMA. I think this was a buying opportunity. And in fact, I bought some from my IRA right at the close on Friday. Well, I didn't get the right at the close. I got it right around here as it was diving. I got around 335 or something like that, right where it is right now. It's already up 4%. So AUGX, I continue to like this AI health care related play with HCA as a partner. So that's the story there, AUGX. Okay. ACHR, something similar. I don't love this as much, but ACHR took a nosedive on earnings. They missed, but they're not revenue. It's on the earning. It's on the no revenue yet, right? They're developing that first EV plane, so they missed on earnings. So took a big dive, and I think it hit a moving average there, right at the 20 DMA, bouncing back a little bit this morning. They got like 3 to 4 quarters of cash, but they also have that big partner, Stellantis, that's kind of funding them. So maybe an overreaction here as well, very similar to AUGX possibly, AUGX and ACHR, and they're both rebounding here this morning. LLAP had bad earnings. They missed on the top and the bottom line. They're burning cash. They're in a situation. They've upped their guidance for the year in terms of revenue, but that's all based on the $2.4 billion contract. Is it a multi-billion-dollar contract here, $2.4 billion contract with the Rivada. So it's speculative. We are going to find out end of June. Officially, we're going to find out July 5th. Okay, July 5th, we're going to get the answer from the ITU whether this deal is actually approved. So at this point, LLAP, they're burning cash. They missed. And we'll have to see how the stock reacts going into the June meeting. It's the end of June at the ITU. And again, the report of that meeting comes out July 5th. And that could be their savior or their death knell. All right. So LLAP, something to watch. If the deal does get approved, July 5th, I anticipate the stock will rapidly go to like $4, $5, $6. If it doesn't, it could just spiral downwards unless Lockheed Martin wants to come in and save them. But so far, right now, this morning, not a good report, and that's why it's down. I forgot to talk to you about CETX last week. I know I mentioned I want to talk about it. I forgot to talk about it. This is a high risk micro float play, 827,000 shares outstanding, but it's got some very interesting news out here. Looks like they had a massive beat. There's only one analyst covering it, but there was like a headline that was mistaken. They beat on revenue, 16 versus 14 million. You see this EPS year over year, 586 to 75-cent loss. And by the way, because of the low number of shares outstanding, they're actually close to break even. That's like a few $100,000, like $500,000-$600,000 in loss for Q2 EPS. But this one, again, very high risk, high reward, low floater. I'm playing it, but the small size and a short trigger finger. There's not an investment. Although I am reaching out, I'm trying to reach out to the CEO to learn more. This is also a AI and border security play. So much of their beat happened because they're selling AI video cameras, some sort of AI video product to Texas border control. Has been like the biggest reason for that beat in Q2. So it's very interesting from a sentiment and catalyst perspective. But this company has a history. The CEO I don't trust. So it's not all four pillars aren't there because I question the credibility of that CEO. But with a micro float, might be worth a play. All right. Again, high risk, high reward on CETX. We're coming to Vegas in just a second, but just want to note we have earnings on VTSI, RUM, and CVV tonight. VTSI, RUM, and CVV. I love VTSI. It's one of my biggest IRA positions. I anticipate a good earnings report. I love RUM, but it's very overvalued, so kind of unpredictable with the price action because every time you get a pop, you get short. Selling it, the best play here is selling puts, I believe. And then CVV, also very interesting. We'll have to see. I don't want to say, look, I don't know if it will be a good earnings report, but last quarter was awesome. So I wouldn't be surprised if this quarter will be a good earnings report. But right after last quarter, you see they did 23 cents. They flipped to profitability. It's trading at a 10 PE right now if you annualize that in a very, very hot space. So like this thing can like rocket back up and it's holding that 20-week moving average. This thing can like rocket back up to $14 very quickly on a good report. So keep that on your radar. But they also did file a $100 million shelf right after the earnings report. And that's why the stock cratered from like 14 to 10. So people are a little bit confused what's going on, right? Are they quickly accelerating and growing and making money? Or are they in trouble and need to raise $100 million? So a couple mixed signals there. It could be that they want to take advantage of the next price spike. So CVV, something very interesting to watch in the silicon carbide space. All right. So with that, let's welcome back on our friend Vegas. Good morning, Vegas. What's going on?
Good morning, everyone. I'm watching a couple news clips here. I saw MNDY had earnings, and they did beat earnings and their guidance. They lifted their guidance for the full year.
Oh, wow. MNDY. Look at that.
So that's really nice here.
I didn't have that on my watch list. That could have been, that looks like a nice re-rating play.
Yeah, and look at that, up 14% already. I mean, it's up $19 right now. And by the way, this company is Israeli, okay? So
okay, cool.
Israeli company, great sales growth, revenues there. It was a great quarter for them. The revenue is up 49.5% year over year. And the quarter-on-quarter revenue up 12.3 million in the first quarter, which was in line with their Q4 2022. So the thing is, with the steady quarter-on-quarter growth, it is showing that the company is able to maintain a strong growth trajectory, and that's a good one to keep on watch. So that one's on here. Me for my watch list today, I'm just watching Meta because it did have an upgrade. So I'm going to watch Meta and see if it can break 237.25. So it did have an upgrade, but I don't have any other news on Meta. Google, we're looking for the continuation off the AI theme and off the event they had the other day. Looking for Google to break 118.03. And pretty much that's the only ones I'm watching right now.
Cool. Yeah, if it breaks 118, I covered this morning. I was given a 122 price target, especially if we break that 118.03. So I do
Right.
continue to like Google.
Yeah.
I did point out Amazon this morning. It's got relative
Yes.
strength, and we talked about this this thesis I had that perhaps there's some speculative buying going on of maybe there's going to be Alexa AI coming up. I don't know what you think of that, but do you see any signs in the chart or any other signs that Amazon might be an interesting purchase here?
Well, I do like, listen, so I do like Amazon in terms of money flow. It had a lot of money flow 2 weeks ago. The trade's still in play on a swing perspective. We have some June calls in play. As long as it actually stays over 108, and the stop loss we have on Amazon is under 101.25. So we are looking for a really big move on Amazon, actually. Looking for this to head towards 120. So very aggressive targets. If we can get over 112.50, that'll start the move towards 115.
I had the same target I talked about this morning, 120, but I see here it's got to break 114 first. I got 114.
Yeah, it's got to break 114. Yeah, exactly. So let's see if we can do that, and then we could start the move. Also watching Micron, had some money flow there. Looking for a break over 63 on Micron, room to 67. So watching Micron as well.
That.
So
nice
and it's got a nice looking chart there. So we'll see what happens in the coming days or later today. We also have a lot. Don't forget, we have a lot of we have OPEX this week as well. So that's happening this week. We got Biden talking tomorrow for the debt ceiling to see if they can get it increased. And I guess that's happening. And a lot of Fed speakers this week. Okay, I got 15 Fed speakers. A lot of Fed speakers. So you might see, sometimes people are like, "Oh, why is the market down? Why is it pulling back?" Well, unfortunately, people get scared when the Fed speakers come on, or if they say something. Sometimes it triggers, people just closing trades, and unfortunately it causes pullbacks in the market, some volatility. So, or sometimes people don't like the Fed speakers coming to talk, and they close trades before they come and speak because they want to protect the position. So there's different reasons why, but there's a lot of Fed speakers today, okay, and the whole week. So it's going to be volatile.
Let me ask you one thing before you go. Tesla, we both liked it Friday. It didn't work out. I've kind of developed this instinct over time that when a stock doesn't go up on good news, it's a warning sign. So I'm a little bit biased against it this morning. I see it's still over the 20 DMA, but what do you think about Tesla, especially for folks that may be stuck in this since that call didn't work out Friday? What's your plan?
Well, I still think people are going to want to short Tesla. I think they're going to be watching I think what's going to be an important level to watch is if it goes under 166. I think if it goes under that, bears will want to come in. So I don't want to see it under 166. It is holding right now at 167.89. So it could be an opportunity for it to, let's say, reverse, but got to watch this, stop under 166, because if it goes below, I think they'll come in here and try to take it down.
Not my favorite stock this morning. I think we got a lot of better options going on with the ones we talked about. All right. Thank you so much.
Okay, everyone. Have a great trading day.
Make sure everyone follow Vegas at I Love Stocks One on Twitter.